Yo, what's happening, beautiful people? Chris Swift from White Rabbit Hypnosis back again with another one on procrastination. In the last video, I talked about how you have more power than you realize you have. And also that procrastination is not an identity, it's not something you're stuck in, it's something you can overcome. It's a habit. And we tend to crystallize those things into identities, but it's not really an identity. I also talked about the idea of being nice to yourself, because actually beating up on yourself for procrastinating makes the problem worse. So you owe it to yourself to be kind to yourself. So, this is kind of continuing on two of those themes and actually talking about when that abstraction of identity can actually be useful. So first, let's talk about being nice to ourselves. The research into procrastination has consistently shown that the relationship to our imagined future self has a noteworthy role in whether we procrastinate or not. We tend to think that our future self will be more likely, willing, and able to carry out the task that we procrastinate. But the reality of it is that the present self feels better once we've decided to procrastinate and imagines the future self will also feel just as good, if not better. It's an illusion in perception. If you take action now, you make things better for your future self. If you start to think of your future self as a different person, or if you start to think about what it would be like as that future self to receive a wonderful gift from your past self of actually completing that task in advance, then are you more likely to take action on that now? The more of a positive relationship you develop to your future self and even your far future self, the more likely you are to take care of those things today that otherwise you might have procrastinated. Now, one of the best tricks in personal development is the power of identity to drive behavior. And while it can work in a negative way, I talked about taking on the identity of the procrastinator, it can work in a positive way if you use it to get you more of what you want. And so, how do you do that? Now, I'm going to steal a little bit from BJ Fogg and James Clear, both very good authors on the topic of habits. One of the things I want to do, though, is first reference James Clear and the idea of identity. One of the most reinforcing rewards we can get for our behavior is an identity we want. So, what about the identity of an action taker, of a front loader? How do we get that? Well, one of the interesting things in Atomic Habits is when James Clear is talking about the idea of what is it as an identity you can claim as soon as you take that step. So you can't say to yourself after just starting to get into exercise or something, you can't say, I'm an athlete. But you can say, I'm a person that prioritizes their fitness, or I'm a person that cares about being healthy. And the more you can sort of bring that to bear, the more you can level it up once you've got a little more evidence that you really are. Maybe you do become an athlete. And at that point, maybe you want to identify as that. However, initially it's, I'm a person that takes fitness seriously. I'm a person that does what they say they're going to do. I'm a person that takes action. And if you can get yourself to take action on some small things, you might just be able to start tipping those dominoes towards realizing you can take those actions on big things. So, one of the best ways of reinforcing a habit beyond the identity thing I just talked about comes from BJ Fogg. And it's just a little celebration that you did the thing you said you wanted to do. And what BJ Fogg recommends is just kind of going, yes, little celebration, like, yes, got it done, I did it. Okay, so if you have that little celebration, even after doing little things, like choosing to wash a dish now rather than let it sit for later. And again, think about your future self. It's going to be easier to do now rather than later. When things have dried on it and things like that, you could take care of it right away and free that time up for your future self. Give your future self more power to do better things. Give yourself a better future that you want that doesn't have those tasks because you will have already taken care of them. All right, so you choose to wash a dish now instead of later. Yes, you celebrate it. And what that does is it reinforces it on a neurological level. These behaviors become more and more likely the more reinforced they are. We'll talk about the power of small actions in a future video. But for now, give this little tip a whirl. Be kind to your future self, be kind to your present self. And see what actions you can take and reinforce in the present. How quickly can you take on the identity of a person that takes action? All right, that's it for today. Thank you for watching the video. Please feel free to stop by whiterabbithypnosis.com. Check out my offers in terms of free hypnosis consultations to help you get some of this stuff that would have been in your future into your past so you can do more exciting things. Looking forward to seeing you in the future. Best wishes. Seeing you.